What's up, y'all? I'm sorry I'm a couple days behind on this topic, but as many of you know, I have a chronic illness and I've been going through it so bad the past couple of days. My body still feel like I've been in a car accident, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get right into the mess. Now, this isn't going to be with a lot of editing and a lot of graphics, but it is going to be a lot of tea. So listen to the whole thing because I need some questions answered. And we're going to just start with Maurice. The fact that we have to learn on a platform outside of the show that Maurice got two grown daughters is baffling to me. Who is the mother of these daughters? Is it Kiowa? Who knows? Because we never even got the full backstory stated plainly on Kiowa and why it is that you thought it was okay to let your current wife be dragged all up and through the social media streets and be called a home wrecker and a side chick to protect the reputation of your ex-wife who, and y'all please correct me if I'm wrong or if I misunderstood something that was stated on the show or that was glazed over on the show. My understanding is the reason why Maurice and Kiowa got divorced is because Kiowa was cheating on him. Your ex-wife's current husband, Xavier, which I'll call Zave for short, he is your sister's ex-boyfriend, one of her ex-boyfriends. What's the timeline between your sister and Zave sleeping together and your ex-wife and Zave sleeping together? Is he the person that Kiowa was sleeping with to break up your marriage? And why did it seem like your sister and your sister-in-law, Tisha, seemed to be Team Kiowa in the beginning and feeling sorry and sympathy for Kiowa for you and Kimmy, I guess what they thought, living your best life and leaving her in the dust after all of the time she put in. I'm sorry. What is the conversation around Maurice's marriage to Kiowa that we have yet to have? And how can you, like your brother, y'all be making so much sense, and just when we getting ready to give you your credit, you mess it up and you remind us why we had stopped messing with y'all. You said on this show and you said that the reason that you and your brother had an intervention with Martell was because of how his actions would impact his children. Martell don't care nothing about his children. Men that have mistresses that are spending time and money that's supposed to be with your kids and for your household on another woman, you don't care about your kids. Men that's going out during COVID when the whole world is shut down and you sneaking out to go see your mistress still and bringing them germs back in the house, lying talking about you been to the gym when the gyms are closed at the beginning of COVID, everything was shut down. So even with risk of bringing disease back in the household, you still was going to see your mistress and neglecting your children. So why are you pretending to be concerned with his children when you knew that he was cheating on his wife and didn't try to stop him because you and your brother was on these trips where the extra ancillary women were, right? Remember how that got exposed? And remember how Kimmy, to continue to try to uphold your image, ask you in a slick way? No, answer my question. Were you with linebackers in Atlanta? No, I wasn't with linebackers. Yeah, because linebackers implies, were you with male football players? Of course not. But were you with another woman? And so then she just had to suffice it to say, well, if it was before we got married, I don't care. Good job, Kimmy. Just keep taking that L. Because what we do know is your husband know how to embarrass you in an interview. And let's talk about fatherhood for the rest of this video. Because what's crazy to me is we will do anything in the Black community except to admit that this myth about two-parent households is always the best thing for the children, and that's going to automatically give the children a better life and a better outcome, when we keep seeing things to the contrary. So let's keep it going with Maurice, since we were already on him. It seems as though Maurice's son was doing just fine when he was with his mama. And then when he came to live with his daddy, he had all types of behavioral problems, had to be sent to boot camp, vaping in the bathroom at school. Boys being raised by their fathers was supposed to be the answer to all things, right? your brother, Marceau, just when we get ready to give him credit for being the voice of reason and surprised at this great advice that he's given. I don't know if it's Marquez or Marquez. I don't remember. I'll just call him Mark. Try not to get him confused with the other Scott brother, Mark, that has been harassing Melody's mama all up and down these social media streets, which, by the way, let's just put a pin in that. It's crazy to me how much you all talk about the mellometers and how problematic they are and how Melody needs to do more to control her fans. You all are expecting Melody to have more control over perfect strangers that she does not know than you all have over your own brother and ex-wife. And the fact that nobody, and I do mean nobody on this show, the women nor the men, have said with chest and stated plainly that Martell was wrong for the revenge piece stuff, and because it is against the law, he deserved to go to jail. Point blank, period. Nobody has said that. Y'all coddle toxic behavior from men because you have to, because you exhibit it yourself. And so back to Marceau. You tell this man that you can't just abandon your family and get up and leave and expect for things to be the same and be jealous of this man that's taking care of your children and stepped in to take care of stuff after you ran off. You ought to be telling that man, thank you. Great advice. And just when we was getting ready to applaud you, here you go saying that you are comparing him to being the male in the situation. Now, how did we get here? Y'all will not miss an opportunity to drag Melody in something that her name doesn't need to be. Marceau comparing the actions of Trisha's soon-to-be ex-husband, comparing his actions to being the male of the situation with how he's handling things. And then you got Maurice saying that in order for Martell and Melody to heal, because there's so much blame on both sides, that it's going to require apologies from both sides. There is nothing that Martell is going through that is not a hell on earth of his own making, the consequences of his own actions. He ruined his family. He ruined his marriage. The end. You have yet another clown out here talking about how even if I don't take care of my children or acknowledge them or whatever, I still want to be head of household or whatever. Just pure delusion. I'm glad that Marceau at least had enough sense to say it is not the woman using your children as a pawn or filling up your daughter's head with these ideas. Your daughter is old enough to see that her daddy used to live with them and now he ain't there. So she got this idea from herself. You can't fault your soon-to-be ex-wife for that. You can't keep blaming that on her mother. It's you. You left the household. But when you threw that curveball out about Mel dragging her name in it, it's just like, well, it was fun while it lasted. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. He got lucky on this one, but he's right back on the wrong side of things. And then that's when we remember. Now, this is the same man who didn't even know that his son had a peanut allergy until you try to fix him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to avoid cooking for your own children, because that's not your job. And that's not what you're supposed to do. As long as you make money, you don't have to be active and involved with the rearing of the children. That's the narrative you were able to spin right out the gate in the first season. We learned in yet another interview on Carlos King's channel with Dustin from Chris that, come to find out, his marriage to his first wife only lasted like maybe a year. And you married her. It was basically a shotgun wedding. What other shotgun weddings took place with cast members? They were teenagers. She got knocked up when they were in high school or whatever, so he had to go ahead and marry her. But of course, after the baby is born, just so we can say, the baby was born in wedlock, because that's so important for you all, for a child not to be bastardized, so to speak. Then you're filing for divorce and trying to walk away from your wife because the marriage was never really real anyway. Now, how did your daughter go and do a whole interview on somebody else's channel and she left that out? Now, once again, this is the problem with learning stuff outside of the show that could have been talked about on the show if we didn't waste time filming so much foolishness. So that's one shotgun marriage that took place, Chris's first marriage, while he let, Nell be dragged to Kingdom Come, talking about she was a side chick. Another shotgun marriage was the one between LeBaric and Destiny, which was the exact same situation. They got married, and then weeks afterwards, just so he wouldn't be bastardized, just so they could say my child was born in wedlock, here comes the divorce. See, when we don't tell everything, now it looks like LeBaric is just some terrible person. Why would he abandon his wife in such a manner when she's still a brand new mom? Her stitches haven't even healed, and he just ran off for no reason. Now, who else's situation was that? Oh, the other Scotts, Marceau and Tisha, right? Because if it's a lie, then it's one of y'all family members that told it. Once again, in another interview outside of the show, that Tisha was supposedly in her first trimester when they got married. You see what I'm saying? The only difference is y'all just stayed together. And y'all can see what the situation is as it relates to Ken and Trish and their kids, but you can't see your own situation. The myth of the black father needing to be in the household and making everything all right. Chris Fletcher was in the household. Him and Nell been together for 30 some years. Look at how their kids turned out. Sound like they living hand to mouth, begging their parents, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Extensive criminal record, in and out of jail. And that's what happens when there is a father in the household. So y'all explain it to me. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done with it. Everybody got a critique about Melody, the way she handles her friendships on the show, the way she doesn't handle her fans, the millimeters, the way she interacts with Martell, and y'all feel so sorry for the children. Y'all will do anything except for stop eating at Melody's table. That's amazing to me. Y'all hate her so much, can't stand the way she treats you, can't stand her fans. Get off her show. Get off her plate. Stop eating at her table.